I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I've been with my wife, Emily, for about 8 years now. We got engaged about a year ago, and honestly, I thought we were solid. She's beautiful, confident, kind of bitchy in that way that makes her sound sharp but still attractive, and she always had this way of making me feel like I was lucky to have her. Until I wasn't. Things started feeling off a few months ago, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. She'd suddenly be busy more often, would cancel plans last minute, and there were little things. Her phone always hidden, her stories about her day seeming a little too rehearsed, or she'd get defensive when I asked who she was texting. I chalked it up to stress, work, whatever. Honestly, I wanted to believe it was all in my head, but I kept getting this sinking feeling. Like something wasn't right, but I kept ignoring it, convincing myself I was just paranoid. Then came the engagement party. We'd planned it months in advance, had a guest list, and I was excited to share. That moment with friends and family. Emily looked stunning that night as always, but she was acting weird. She was overly attentive to her phone, whispering to her best friend behind my back, and there was a spark in her eyes that I didn't recognize. I remember catching her looking at someone, probably her best friend, Lauren, more than I thought was normal. She smirked at him a few times and I just shrugged it off, telling myself I was imagining things. But then, the next day, I saw something. Something that made my blood run cold. I was cleaning up after the party, putting away some of the leftover decorations when I found her phone lying on the counter. I wasn't snooping, okay, maybe a little, and I wasn't trying to invade her privacy, but I just wanted to check what she'd been talking about. And that's when I saw it. An entire string of messages between her and Lauren, full of flirtatious comments, laughing emojis, and plans to meet up later that week. There were mentions of sex, dirty talk, everything. It was so blatant I couldn't believe I'd missed it. My stomach dropped. My mind was racing. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I couldn't believe she'd been hiding this from me right under my nose at my own engagement party. All those times she was so bitchy about her private life and people she doesn't trust, and here she was sneaking around behind my back with my best friend. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat there staring at the wall trying to process what I'd seen. How long had this been going on? Was there more? And the worst part, how do I even confront her now? The next morning I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. My head was pounding, my stomach was twisted, and all I could think about was those messages. I kept going over them in my head, trying to find some kind of explanation that didn't make me feel even more sick. But there was none. She had been cheating on me, on us, at my own engagement party with my supposed best friend, Lauren. How could I have missed the signs? How blind was I? I decided I couldn't let it sit. I needed to talk to her, face to face, and get some answers. But I also knew I had to be smart. I didn't want her to deny it, to spin her usual bullshit. So I started planning what I'd say, what I'd ask, how I'd confront her without giving her the chance to lie her way out. I wanted to see the truth in her eyes, to hear her admit it. That day, I followed her. She said she was going to run some errands, but I knew better. She slipped out of the apartment around noon, and I followed her to that little coffee shop she loves. She met up with Lauren, and I watched from a distance as they sat there, giggling and touching each other like they'd known each other forever. I saw Lauren kiss her on the cheek, and Emily just smiled, that bitchy little smile she always has when she's feeling superior. I couldn't believe it. It was all right there in front of me. When she left the coffee shop, I finally approached her. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just asked her to come with me. I told her I had something to say, something important. Her eyes narrowed, and she looked at me like I was bothering her. "What is it, Mike? Can't it wait?" she snapped, her tone already bitchy. I felt my blood boil, but I kept my cool barely. We sat in my car and I showed her the messages. Her face didn't change much at first, but then I saw her eyes flicker, her smirk falter just a little. That's when she started lying. "It's nothing, just some stupid jokes," she said, brushing it off like it was nothing. "You're overreacting. Lauren and I are just friends. We've been friends for years. You're being paranoid." I lost it then. Paranoid. Are you serious? That's what you're going with. You're sleeping with my best friend and you think I'm paranoid. I could feel the anger bubbling up, but I also felt this deep, crushing disappointment. How could she lie so easily? How could she look me in the eyes and pretend it was all nothing? I wanted to believe her, I really did, but the proof was right there, staring me in the face. She shrugged and rolled her eyes. Look, Mike, I don't know what you think you saw or what you want me to say, but I'm not cheating on you. Lauren and I, we're just friends. We've been through a lot and sometimes we confide in each other. That's all. You're blowing things out of proportion. Her voice was clipped, her tone bitchy, and I could see that she was trying to downplay everything. But I wasn't buying it. That confrontation was the beginning of a nightmare I couldn't escape from. For days afterward, I kept replaying the scene, trying to find some way to fix it, some way to believe she was telling the truth. But deep down, I knew. I knew that my wife, the woman I trusted more than anything, had been lying to me for years. And my best friend, he'd been betraying me right in front of my face. The shock, the hurt, it was overwhelming. I felt empty, like I'd lost part of myself, and I couldn't even begin to process what that meant for my future. After that confrontation, everything changed. I couldn't look at Emily the same way. Her usual bitchy attitude had turned into something cold and dismissive. She kept telling me I was overreacting, that I was jealous, insecure, or just imagining things. But I knew. Better, I had seen the messages, I knew the truth. Still, she kept spinning her lies, acting like I was the crazy one. I spent the next few days in a fog. Every time I looked at her, I saw a stranger. Every word she said felt like a lie. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. My whole world was falling apart, and I didn't even have a clear idea of how to fix it or if I even should. I was so angry, so hurt. I didn't know whether I wanted to scream at her, cry, or just walk away and forget everything. But a part of me still hoped she'd come clean, admit everything, and maybe, somehow, we could salvage what was left. Then out of nowhere, she threw a curveball. She told me I was possessive and insecure, and that I needed to stop accusing her of things she hadn't done. She said I was overreacting because I was scared of losing her, and that she deserved better than a guy who didn't trust her. Her words stung more than I thought possible. It was like she was trying to turn the tables on me, making me feel guilty for catching her in the act. All that did was make me angrier. One night I was at home, brooding on the couch, when I got a text from Lauren. I didn't expect to hear from him, not after what I'd seen, but there it was. A message that started with, "Look, I know you're upset and I get it." And then he apologized. Not for cheating, but for hurting me. He said they never meant for it to go this far, that Emily was manipulative, and that she'd lied to him just as much as she lied to me. The words hit me like a punch in the gut. I'd always thought Lauren was one of my few good friends, but now I saw him differently. He was just another liar, another person who'd betrayed me. That's when I knew I had to make a decision. I couldn't keep living like this in a fog of lies and betrayal. I decided I'd give Emily one last chance to come clean, to confess everything, and then I'd decide what to do. I planned to confront her again, but this time I wasn't going to hold back. Was going to lay everything on the table, her lies, her cheating, her manipulations, everything. If she denied it again, I'd be done. I realized I'd been fooling myself, thinking it was just a slip, just a mistake. No, this was who she was, and I deserved better than someone who lied and cheated behind my back. So I waited. I prepared myself for the worst. I knew the fight coming would be brutal, but I also knew I couldn't keep pretending. I had to face the truth, no matter how much it hurt. I still loved her, at least I thought I did. But love isn't enough when the foundation is built on lies. I was ready for whatever came next, whether that meant fighting for us or walking away for good. I just hoped I'd find the strength to do what was right, even if it meant losing everything. The night I decided to confront Emily again felt like walking into a storm. I knew she'd deny everything, but I needed to hear her say it. I wanted her to look me in the eyes and lie straight to my face, knowing I'd catch her in it. She was already acting like a bitchy queen, sarcastic, dismissive, and full of excuses whenever I pressed her. But this time I was determined to be clear. She was in the living room, scrolling through her phone as usual, her attitude already annoying me. I sat down across from her, took a deep breath, and asked, "Emily, just tell me the truth. Are you cheating on me with Lauren or anyone else?" Her eyes flashed with contempt. "Oh, wow. You really think I'd cheat on you, Mike? That's your big question. You're such a jealous little man, always accusing me without cause. Maybe you're the one who's got issues." Her tone was sharp, almost mocking. She crossed her arms and leaned back, pretending to be unbothered, but I saw her eyes flicker. She was nervous, even if she didn't want to show it. I pressed harder. Come on, Emily. Look me in the eye and tell me you're not screwing around. I found the messages. I saw you with Lauren. Don't lie to me now. Her laugh was cold and bitter. What messages? What Lauren? You're so paranoid, Mike. You've been imagining things because you're insecure. Honestly, I don't even know why I put up with your crazy accusations. I've told you I'm done with all that drama. Maybe I deserve better than a guy who's so obsessed with my phone and my life. I couldn't take it anymore. I felt my fists clenching, my heart pounding in my chest. I knew she was lying, but hearing her deny it outright, knowing she was lying, made me want to scream. Stop fucking lying, I yelled, voice trembling with rage. I saw the messages. I saw how you and Lauren were talking. You've been sneaking around behind my back, lying to my face, and now you're pretending none of it exists. She got up, her face twisted into a sneer. You're crazy, Mike. You're just jealous because I don't want some insecure little man like you controlling me. You're losing it, and I'm sick of your accusations. Maybe it's better if we just go our separate ways. Clearly, you're too much of a mess to handle this relationship. That's when I exploded. I felt the anger boiling over, everything I'd kept bottled up for days. I told her I wasn't going anywhere until she admitted the truth. I demanded she stop lying and finally own up. But instead, she started cursing me out, calling me controlling, jealous, and insecure. She stormed off into the bedroom, slamming the door behind her, leaving me sitting there, fists clenched, feeling like I'd just been punched in the stomach again. That night, I couldn't sleep. Her words kept echoing in my head, and I kept replaying what I saw and heard. The betrayal wasn't just about the sex or the messages. It was about the lies, the deception, the fact that I'd been blind to what she really was. I loved her, I really did. But I had to face the brutal truth. The woman I thought I knew was just a manipulative, lying bitch who'd been betraying me for years. I felt so broken, so lost, realizing I'd never really known her. And I didn't know what to do next, but I knew I couldn't keep living like this, living a lie. After that night, everything felt like it was falling apart inside me. I stayed up most of the night, staring at the ceiling, trying to piece together what was real and what was just my fucking imagination. I kept thinking about the years we'd been together, all the laughs, the plans, the dreams, and how much of it was just a lie. I felt like I'd been played for a fool. It wasn't just the betrayal, it was the fact that she'd lied so effortlessly, so shamelessly to my face. In the morning, I knew I had to make a decision. I couldn't keep going like this, living in this bullshit. I had to get her to admit everything once and for all. So I called her from work, telling her I needed to talk, serious talk. When she answered, she sounded annoyed, but I didn't care. I told her I was done with the lies, that I knew everything and I wanted her to come clean. I told her I wasn't going to tolerate being played anymore, that I deserved the truth. She scoffed and said, "Mike, you're overreacting. You always blow things out of proportion. I don't know what you want me to say, but I'm not cheating on you. You're just insecure and maybe you should get help." Her words hit me like a slap. That's when I realized the game she was playing, trying to turn everything around, make me look crazy for catching her, but I wasn't going to fall for it. I told her to meet me at the park later that day. I needed her to face me face to face and tell me the truth. When she arrived, she was all annoyed, rolling her eyes like I was just some nuisance. I looked her dead in the eyes and asked, "Are you sleeping with Lauren? Be honest." She hesitated, then shook her head, smirking. "You really want me to lie again? Fine. Yeah, I've been messing around with Lauren. Happy now." Her tone was defiant, her eyes full of disdain. That's when I saw her for what she really was, the bitchy, manipulative woman who had been using me all along. My world shattered right then. The pain was like nothing I'd ever felt before. The betrayal was so raw and real I doubted I could ever get past it. I wanted to scream, to lash out, but I just stood there, stunned. She laughed a little, mocking me, and walked away without a second glance. That was the moment I realized I had to seriously think about what came next. I wasn't just hurt, I was broken. I'd been blindsided by someone I loved, someone I trusted with everything. And now I knew the truth. I was alone, and everything I thought we had was just a lie. In the days that followed, I felt like I was living someone else's life. The weight of everything hit me hard: trust, love, betrayal, all tangled up into one messed up ball. I kept replaying every moment, every lie she told, every fake smile she threw my way. The worst part was knowing she had been pretending for so long, hiding her true self behind that bitchy facade, all while telling me stories that I now realize were lies from the start. I finally made the decision to end it. I packed up my things, clothes, her shit, things from our place, and left while she was at work. I didn't want to face her, didn't want to hear her bullshit apologies or her excuses for what she'd done. I knew if I stayed, I'd end up just hurting myself more. I wanted to cut all ties and start over. It wasn't easy. I felt like I was ripping out a piece of myself in the process, but I knew it was the only way to save what was left of my sanity. Now looking back, I realize I shouldn't have trusted her. I shouldn't have let her manipulate me for so long. I learned a lot about how dangerous lies can be, especially when they come from someone you love and trust. She showed her true colors, and it's clear now that she was never the person I thought she was. She was just a bitchy, manipulative woman who used me and my trust to fulfill her own selfish needs. As for Lauren, I haven't spoken to him since. I blocked his number, deleted all the messages, and decided I don't need that kind of toxicity in my life anymore. I've been going to therapy, trying to piece myself back together, and honestly, it's a slow process. I feel betrayed, but I also feel a strange sense of relief, finally knowing the truth, finally seeing everything for what it was. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that trust is fragile and that sometimes the people you think are closest to you are the ones who hurt you the most. But I also know now that I deserve better. I don't need someone who lies and cheats and manipulates me. I need to rebuild myself from the ground up, learn to trust again, maybe not blindly but cautiously with my eyes wide open. So yeah, that's my story. It hurts to admit it all, but I finally see things clearly. I hope my experience can serve as a warning to anyone out there who might be blind to the signs. Don't ignore the red flags. Don't convince yourself it's just a phase or a misunderstanding. Because when the truth finally comes out, it can shatter everything you thought was real. And trust me, it's a hell of a lot better to walk away than to stay and keep getting hurt.